Patrick Stewart is celebrating the role of a lifetime, Jean-Luc Picard.
What began over 35 years ago ends tonight.
Star Trek The Next Generation began in 1987.
Engage.
Star Trek Picard is ending in 2023.
Engage.
Thank you so much for what you've done. Thank you for this show. On behalf of the fans.
I've been obsessed since I was a little boy.
This was me as a little kid. This is my all-time favorite show. I dressed as you for like 4 years.
My fellow fans cheering on the crew and an IMAX screening of the finale.
Nothing else in my career, nothing else in my life has had an impact like this, being part of this, and I say part of it.
Right.
That was always my insistence. We are an ensemble.
Because I need you. All of you.
The entire TNG ensemble is back. Jonathan Frakes as Will Riker, LeVar Burton as Geordi LaForge, Marina Sirtis as Deanna Troi, Michael Dorn as Worf, Gates McFadden as Beverly Crusher, and Brent Spiner as Data.
I'm curious for sort of the emotions happening inside of you on this night at this moment.
Joy. That is the emotion.
I am savoring the moments.
If anybody told me that I'd be still doing this 35 years later, I'd say, you're crazy. That's not going to happen.
Space, the final frontier.
Gene Roddenberry created the original Star Trek in the 60s with a simple promise.
To boldly go where no one has gone before.
There have been 12 different series, including Star Trek Voyager, where we first saw Jeri Ryan play 7 of 9. She's now one of the stars of Star Trek Picard.
What do you think is the legacy of Star Trek itself?
I think it's ultimately hope. You know, it shows us if we learn to accept each other, and not only accept but appreciate each other's differences, not fear each other and not hate each other and not resent each other.
What do you think is the legacy of Star Trek?
Fairness.
It includes everybody. And I think that's the whole thing, is that there's just nobody that's left out from Star Trek.
What do you think is the legacy of Star Trek?
I think that there's a world in which there's no racism and no sexism, and everybody can read, and there's no money, and people respect each other. What Roddenberry represented in the 60s. If people would listen, he had the right message.
How do you feel?
Almost human.
A consistent theme throughout Star Trek? What does it mean to be human?
You will now answer to the charge of being a grievously savage race.
What has this show, Jean-Luc Picard, taught you about humanity?
Never give up. Fight.
What it's like to be part of something that's so much bigger than myself.
On and off screen, this crew sticks together.
It's like no time had gone by because we're all really close friends. We see each other all the time, and they just had on different clothes.
We are a family, and we have been for many years. One that took a generation to grow.
This season features the kids of our favorite characters, essentially the next generation. LeVar Burton's actual daughter, Mica, is his on-screen daughter, a fellow Starfleet engineer.
I know friends who watched Star Trek with their parents, who watched it with their parents, and the fact that we can trace that, and Star Trek is still so beloved since its inception, that's the legacy in itself, and I'm so excited and honored to continue it.
That's my kid. What have you learned about humanity from Geordi LaForge?
That no matter how fakakta everything looks, it's all going to turn out okay in the end.
Only if you have an engineer, though.
In the show, the LaForges secretly brought back to life their old starship, the Enterprise D, as a side project.
Thanks for fixing up the Enterprise.
Yeah.
We love seeing it, you guys back on there together.
It's a little DIY project.
DIY.
Doors opened, and it was just like you felt. It was very emotional.
I preferred the weapon systems on the E. Additional phaser arrays, torpedo.
Worf.
She is perfect, Geordi. That to me was mind-boggling. I mean, I got a little choked up. because I remember the day I first saw that 35 years ago, and I had that same feeling.
Showrunner Terry Matalas made all this possible. He now wants to lead a spin-off series called Star Trek Legacy.
It's about Seven of Nine, it's about Jack Crusher, it's about the LaForge sisters, it's about what else is going on in the galaxy with the Deep Space Nine characters, the rest of the Voyager characters.
And don't forget about the TNG crew.
Honestly, some of these characters I'm not ready to say goodbye to. You know, I think in a lot of ways, Jonathan Frakes, LeVar, Burton, Michael Dorn, Gates, McFadden, they've just never been better. They're at the top of their game, and I want to see more.
Fans making Star Trek Legacy trend on Twitter every week. Picard on Paramount Plus is one of Nielsen's top 10 streaming shows. Elex Kurtzman is another Star Trek EP.
Is Star Trek Legacy going to happen?
Anything's possible. Anything's possible. We've heard the fans loud and clear. There's obviously more story to tell, so we'll see.
In the meantime, fans are enjoying the present.
What do you think is Star Trek's legacy?
Us, the fans, for sure.